My name is Marie Manuel, and I am the Membership and Partnerships Manager at the Nonprofit Association of Oregon. NAO is proud to have over 1,100 nonprofit members representing Oregon's robust nonprofit sector. Today, I am thrilled to spotlight Greenhill Humane Society, which is a nonprofit based in Eugene, Oregon. I'm joined today by Cary Lieberman, the Executive Director at Greenhill Humane Society. Thank you again, Cary, for joining me today.
All right, thank you.
So tell us about Greenhill Humane Society. What is the mission of Greenhill Humane and who do you serve?
Greenhill Humane Society, our mission is to provide care and shelter for animals, support and resources for people, and education to promote the humane treatment of animals. We are really the only shelter within Lane County that serves all of Lane County. And it's a pretty large population, a lot of acreage out here. And on an annual basis, we help about 3,400 animals each year.
Well, with that large community and, of course, all those animals to help, especially with these past few months, they've been particularly tough and challenging. How are you doing as an organization, first of all? And have you changed ways in which you deliver your programs and services?
Yeah, I think everyone's had to change ways this year. This has been a very challenging year in so many ways. And probably the largest is we've had to learn how to deliver services in a way that is safe for everyone, and primarily through physical distancing. And also address sort of shifting needs for animals and people. So we fortunately were able to change over to physical distancing almost overnight. So there was never a time during this year that we had to close our operations. We did shift most of our activities to appointment basis for adoptions, for return to owner activities. Of course, emergencies are always emergencies and you can't schedule those or make an appointment for those. So we've been able to accommodate that. The fires recently have shifted some of what we do. So we engaged in search and rescue activities this year, which is something that we've done. Actually, we've never really done anything on this scale in this community because our community has not seen fires like this ever in recent memory, at least. And so we had to put a team together to go out and do search and rescue activities. We also organized and worked to organize our veterinary community to provide triage services for animals that were being removed from the evacuation zones.
Well, is there a recent milestone or achievement that you'd like to share as well?
Yeah. So just this past year, we completed a $6 million expansion to our facility. We are unbelievably fortunate to have accomplished that, given what this year has held. The reality is, without having completed the construction on this, which basically expanded our facility significantly, it added state-of-the-art stress-free housing for animals. It also added a 2,000 square foot veterinary medical center on site. And without it, we wouldn't have been able to continue doing our work in the way that we have. The expansion allowed us to physically distance. So although we still have about 20% of our employees at any given time are working remotely, most of our employees are able to work on site. We've had to limit the number of volunteers on site, but we are still able to have some volunteers on site because the spaces now are such that we can put a couple people in a room and still have decent space between them.
Well, speaking of volunteers and our community, what do you see are your organization's current needs, and how can other people in the community, that includes funders and donors, support you best?
Yeah, one thing that particularly this disaster highlighted was that being prepared for the disaster is actually more important than what happens in a disaster. This community and even around the country, we received donations and words of support in the midst of these fires, and it was unbelievably generous and overwhelming. Both overwhelming in the form of, our hearts were overwhelmed with the joy of the support, and at the same time, we received so many donations of physical things, and that it was almost overwhelming to receive them. And what we were able to incorporate everything that people donated and distributed out into the community, if it was pet food or supplies for people needing to evacuate. But there was a realization that we couldn't have done it. We couldn't have addressed this disaster if we hadn't built the organization that could deliver the relief. And so what I would say for funders, for donors, ongoing support for the organizations that you care about, for our organization certainly, is really what's critical to really establishing a safety net for the community. It is really the kind of ongoing, annual support, monthly support, whatever, to build the organization up so that it can have professionals working within it, and can address shifting community needs.
Those are great words of advice. Well, is there anything else you'd like to share, Cary?
I do want to say thank you. I really appreciate NAO and the work, particularly this year, that is being done by our partners, essentially. So it's good to have an Oregon-wide organization that's focusing on nonprofits to help at the levels that we can't necessarily address, national levels or statewide levels, and that allows the nonprofits, us, to work locally, to really focus on our specific missions, even though there are things that really affect our mission, like legislation or funding or overall direction in times of crisis like we've experienced this year. I really appreciate the ability to trust that things are going well, and that there's another team in our court during this time.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.